If the word networking makes you kind of cringe, you are definitely not alone. So today, we're going to tear down that old transactional model using some key ideas from Keith Ferrazzi's classic, Never Eat Alone. We're going to completely reframe networking, not as some sleazy chore, but as a really powerful, authentic way to build relationships.
We've all seen this person, right? The classic networking jerk. The schmoozer who's always looking over your shoulder for someone more important to talk to. It just feels so insincere, so calculated, and frankly a little gross. It's the very reason so many of us dread the whole idea of networking.
And this is the question at the very heart of this explainer. What if that whole image is just built on a complete misunderstanding of what networking truly is? What if there's a more authentic and honestly a far more powerful way to connect with people? Okay, so let's break down exactly what's wrong with this old model. For years, we've been taught that networking is a numbers game, a race to collect the most business cards. But that approach is all about taking, not giving. It's totally transactional, and it completely fails to build the real, lasting relationships that actually lead to success. And this perception is a huge barrier. I mean, nobody wants to be that person, right? So what do we do instead? Well, we just avoid networking altogether. When we do that, we miss out on one of the most powerful tools we have for our personal and professional growth. So, what's the alternative? The big revelation here comes from a pretty unlikely place, the author's own surprising story. To really get this new approach, we kind of have to see the world through his eyes for a minute. Keith Ferrazzi didn't start with a silver spoon. He came from a working-class family, a world away from the Ivy League schools and fancy corner offices he would one day end up in. His first glimpse into that world of influence actually came from a pretty unexpected job, caddying on a golf course for the rich and powerful. And it was there, on that golf course, that Ferrazzi had this profound realization. The real power that the wealthy people had, it wasn't their money, it was their community. It was this built-in network of people who were constantly helping each other succeed. And this led him to redefine poverty. It wasn't just a lack of money, it was a lack of connection. It was isolation. And that one insight, well, it changes everything. It's the foundation for the book's core solution. This massive mental shift away from getting and towards giving. The book illustrates this with two absolutely perfect examples. First, you've got Hollywood David, a guy who hoarded his contacts like they were a finite resource, even refusing an introduction because he didn't want to use the equity. Then you have Mr. Pigeon, a mentor who, without a second thought, opened his entire Rolodex to help a group of stranded students. One guy saw a transaction, the other saw an opportunity to help. And this gets right to the heart of the book's message. The true currency of networking isn't greed. It's generosity. You build trust and real connection not by asking for favors, but by proactively looking for ways to help other people, with no expectation of getting anything back. Okay, so the philosophy is powerful, for sure, but how do we actually put it into practice? Let's get into the application. Because this isn't just about being a nice person, it's a strategy. And the very first step is knowing where you're going. I mean, you can't ask for directions if you don't know your destination, right? Before you can build a network to support you, you have to know exactly what you're trying to achieve. And the book uses a fascinating study from Yale's class of 1953 to show just how critical this really is. So when researchers surveyed the graduating class, the results were, well, they were pretty telling. A huge majority, 84%, had no specific goals at all. Another 13% had some goals in their head, but they hadn't actually written them down. And that left this tiny sliver, just 3%, who had taken the time to write down their goals and make a plan. Okay, fast forward 20 years. The follow-up was stunning. The group with the unwritten goals, they were earning twice as much as those with no goals. But the real shocker? That tiny 3% with the written goals, they were earning on average 10 times more than the other 97% of their classmates combined. That's the power of clarity. And when you're crystal clear on your mission, you can be incredibly strategic about who you need to connect with. This whole thing really boils down to a simple, actionable plan. Step 1, define your mission. Get crystal clear on your goals. Step 2, do your homework. Figure out who the people are who can help you get there. And step 3, and this is the most important part of this entire model, help them first. Find a way to add value to their lives before you ever even think about asking for something in return. So let's bring this all together with this single most important takeaway. This is the new reality of how to build a network that is both incredibly powerful and truly authentic. Here's the bottom line. The time to build your network is not when you desperately need it. You can't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. You have to start gardening now. Build your community of colleagues and friends today when you have absolutely nothing to ask for and everything to give. This one shift changes absolutely everything. It reframes networking from some selfish chore into a meaningful daily practice of generosity. So I'll leave you with the same powerful question the book does. And don't just hear it, really think about it. Who can you help today?